Hello and welcome to round 6 of the Dragon Racing League here in Imola, as we are just underway with qualifying. We do have a couple short of our 20, but we're expecting a lot of fun, a lot of fast driving, and a fantastic day around the track. For those of you who have not been in, we will quickly bring up our driver standings here. As Gasboy is on his way out of the pits as well. Alright, so very quickly we will go through the driver standings. We do have the Johnny Damon in P1, Cam Tizzle in P2, Electric Blade in P3, Drofta in P4, Younger in P5, King C. in P6, B. Schultz in P7, Ray in P8, Tin Man the Rowdy P9, Hayden Rogers in 10th, Rex in 11th, Osmanian Devil in 12th, Wolfsburg Tuner in 13th, Racer X in 14th, Beamer Blunt in 15th, Knickknack Paddywhack in 16th, Red Devil in 17th, Mediati in 18th, Mitch in 19th, and Gasboy in P20. And for those who didn't see, Drofta in the Haas has set the fastest time so far with a 1:15.004, followed by a second of Mediati in the Ferrari. Modern Ty, who is one of our reserve drivers, has finished, gotten himself into 4th. Tasmanian Devil now in 5th. The Johnny Damon in, or sorry, the Tasmanian Devil is in 3rd. The Johnny Damon in 5th. His teammate there, and Wolfsburg Tuner currently in 6th. As you can see, Knickknack Paddywhack has retired himself from the session, as unfortunately, actually, interesting. There was not a reason as to why. And then for the weather today, we are expecting nothing but sunshine. So hopefully it will be a nice sunny day for the entirety of the race, and that's what we are going to be expecting. So as we are on board with Gasboy as he makes his way around Imola, we will quickly... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. We'll quickly bring up all our fun things as he is on his way through. For his first flying lap. He makes his way down to turn 17 here, and then there's going to be turn 18 is the next hard, quick left. And then DRS will be open as they come across turn 19 to the finish line, and that will get himself just ahead of his teammate up into P4. You see Hayden Rogers, he is on his outlap, as well as is... Oh, Cody seems to be having a little bit of connection problem. We do have Wolfsburg Tuner, who looks like he is on his second outlap, as he looks like he is trying to gain as much as he can, although not really. No, maybe not. Maybe he is on a flyer here. As yeah, it does look like he is. As he makes his way down this kind of quick stretch before a little bit of a fun chicane, and that curve on the last chicane there can be a complete nightmare. If you catch a little bit too much of it, it can definitely send you around very quickly. Obviously not exactly what you're going to want if it's sending you around. Never a good time. And he will have DRS open as he comes across, and that will get him a 1:21.205. We do have a few, but we'll hop on with Drafta, and we'll actually watch. He's going to be coming in to start his next fast lap here. And he will be underway with DRS open. This is turn 1. He makes the long, heavy braking into turn 2. And the quick right of turn 3. With another quick left of turn 4. Then a straightaway down to a very fast turn 5 on the left-hander. Before having to slow up a little bit for turn 6. And then the sort of hairpin for a 7. Ooh, as he gets a little out of shape there. He's probably going to start harvesting now. Pull off to kind of the side. And probably go for another lap after this one here. So as of right now, we have Drafta, Potty, and Racer X, Hayden Rogers all in the 15s. With Drafta obviously about a 3.2 hundredths of a second, or 320, yeah, 3/10 of a second up. So he's gonna pull over, let the Mercedes go by. I believe that was wrong one. That's why I was like, what is happening? That would be him. Yeah, Potty seems to be having some connection issues here. Not really sure what's going on, but he's having some problems. And Racer X, we can see as he goes around the hairpin, as Schultz gets himself the fastest lap, the first one to dip into the 114s. Fantastic flying lap, as it does look like the Osmanian Devil has also retired from the session. He keeps it right on the line there as he comes out of the final chicane before the double left. Drafta now having to chase down Schultz, so we'll see what he's able to do on this flying lap here. As he just decides to come into the pits instead. And what's Rocket Forge played is it looks like he is still doing a fast lap, although the Johnny Damon might also... Yeah, the Johnny Damon is also doing... No, he looks like he might have just finished as he is now up in P3. As you can see, the Red Bull of... is pulled off to the side there to allow the AlphaTauri to whip on through. So he's going to hammer down to third gear, gear up to fourth, let off a little bit, get back on the throttle, and then it's just flat out DRS open as he gets himself up into P5. A flying lap, fantastic flying lap there. Looks like Beamer Blunt is going to be the next to start his full flying lap here. He's improved on his Sector 1 time, which is a good start. this is shaping up to be a pretty solid lap that'll be Blunt here. He improves by 9/10 of a second in Sector 2. So he's having a fantastic drive here. It's a great exit out of the final left there, and he ends up going 1.5 seconds faster, and that will get him up into P8. Great drive, or great lap by Beamer Blunt there. Ooh, and that's going to... Oh, somehow that did not end his lap there, but Modern Tie on his way out, as he is currently holding on to P12. It's a little deep into the hairpin. He's able to keep it going on track there. I think that's him moving over as look like body going through. Man, this is gonna be real interesting to see this throughout the race now. So hopefully they have a little easier time dealing with it. He unfortunately has invalidated this lap. Bummer for the Beamer. We do have everybody kind of on their way for their last sort of fast lap here, as we're going to be coming down to the final 2 minutes of our short quali here. And Christopher Schultz saying, "You're the champ, Benjamin." And that's in reference to B. Schultz, who is currently holding on to P1 in qualifying so far, with a very fast 1:14.975. He's already getting a little bit of flack in the chat, saying he's been sandbagging. He was prepping it for this year, or for this race. That's all he needed was this race to start. As it looks like Beamer Blunt has decided to retire, and that will be the end of where he ends up. As we do have Electric Blade pulling up to the hairpin there before he makes his way back down Sector 2. As that body does set the fastest lap with a 1:14.958. Also absolutely blazing fast. It does look like Electric Blade unfortunately is going to invalidate, so he's going to start to harvest as fast as he can, and hope he can sink some more heat into those tires as we have the Aston Martin of Racer X working his way, though it does look like he is also now invalidated. So we'll see how the Ferrari of Gasboy is able to do. As right now we have Potty P1, Schultz P2, Drofta in P3, the Johnny Damon P4, Electric Blade P5, Racer X in P6, Hayden Rogers, then Cam Tizzle, Gasboy, Beamer Blunt, Mediati, Modern Tie, Osmanian Devil, Wolfsburg Tuner, and Knick-Knack Paddywhack. As then Drofta decides, nope, this is mine, drops himself up into P1 with a 1:14.841, so he does end up with a 1/10 of a second step up there, or gap, I guess, to P2. As Gasper has made his way into the pits as well. Cam Tizzle getting ready to finish up, as is Hayden Rogers, although looks like Hayden has invalidated now as well. We'll see how Cam Tizzle is, as he is going to be the last one that can set a time in the Papaya McLaren, as he has decided to throw it into the pits. So that will be qualifying, as that is going to be the end of it. So pretty solid qualifying, although Cam Tizzle somehow actually goes faster in Sector 3 there. I mean, good on him.
Yet it took another 17 years when in 1980 Imola was awarded the honor of hosting the Italian GP. The event was such a success that in 1981 Italy was granted 2 races. The Italian GP was returned to Monza, with Imola became the San Marino GP up until 2000.
And that is going to be where we end it for qualifying. So some fantastic times. So it will be everybody's favorite. So Drofta will be in P1 with Potty in P2, B Schultz in P4, the Johnny Damon in Schultz in P3, the Johnny Damon in P4, Electric Blade in P5, Racer X P6, Hayden Rogers in P7, Cam Tizzle P8, Gasboy in P9, Beamer Blunt in P10, Mediati in 11, Modern Tie in 12, Osmanian Devil in 13, Wolfsburg Tuner in 14th, and Knick-Knack Paddywhack with no time will start at the back in P15. And with that, we're going to get everything situated, as the drivers will finish up getting set up, adjusting the little tweaks that they need to do, and their strategy call. And while we wait for that, we will quickly bring up our Constructors' Championship standings as of current. So right now in P1 we do have Haas, in P2 we have McLaren, P3 we have Alpine, P4 we do have Williams, P5 Alpha Tauri, 6th is Alfa Romeo, in 7th we have Mercedes, in 8th Aston Martin, 9th Red Bull, and in 10th it is Ferrari. And then for anyone who is curious, this is going to be our trek for the day. So it is a 4.909 kilometer trek. We will not be doing 63 laps, obviously. We are doing 50%. And you will have our first ever Grand Prix here was held in 1980. And the fastest lap recorded is a 1:15.848 during a race, obviously, by Lewis Hamilton in 2020. And that is going to be that race. So while they are doing that, we will take a quick little break, let everything get organized, and we shall be back.
Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super, Super Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super, Super Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super, Super Max, 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 Super Max, Max. Ik mis geen race, heb scheid aan mijn centen. Ik zie Max zijn mooiste momenten. Hij is de king van Barcelona. Rijdt alles zoek van Spa tot Monza. De geur van rubber en smeltend asfalt. Ik juich als Max weer één voorbij knalt. Zijn inhaalacties zijn bijzonder. Het is een baas, een wereldwonder. Yo fucking ho, niet meer normaal. Hij is een held en gaat maximaal. Fucking bizar, een fenomeen. Hij gaat naar de top, Max is de nummer 1. Yo fucking ho, niet meer normaal. Hij is een held en gaat maximaal. Fucking bizar, een fenomeen. Hij gaat naar de top, Max is de nummer 1.
Bizar! Fucking bizar! Ja, dan zit je naar dingen te kijken en te hopen. En daar is hij. Max Verstappen in de laatste bocht in Barcelona. Yo hey! Yo ho!
Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super, Super Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super, Super Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super.
All right, and our formation lap is going to be underway. So as we had talked about, we have Drofta in P1, Potty P2, B Schultz in P3, the Johnny Damon P4, Electric Blade P5, Racer X in P6, Hayden Rogers in P7, Cam Tizzle P8, Gasboy in P9, Beamer Blunt P10, Mediati in P11, Modern Tie P12, Osmanian Devil in 13, Wolfsburg Tuner in 14, and Knickknack Paddywhack in 15th. As we are hoping to have another fantastically clean race as we did last week. Very quickly, we will ring up our tires. So for the most part, it's going to be mediums and hards, and I believe going to hards or mediums. Obviously, very dependent on how the safety car situation ends up playing itself out. Last week we only had, I believe it was 1 or 2 safety cars, so hopefully much the same here. Thankfully, Imola is very straightforward track. There are a couple of spots that can get a little dicey, but for the most part, it is a very fun, very quick. But yeah, the 11, 12, 13 corner with the downhill to the hard right to go uphill, and then the final chicane of 14 and 15. Turns 14 and 15 can also get a little interesting if you get on the throttle a little too early, or if you catch yourself on one of the inside curbs. So hopefully not too much of that. Hopefully a fantastic race. We are getting our final cars into their positions. We have all 5 lights. All 5 lights are out, and we are underway for our Imola Grand Prix, 32 laps in wonderful Italy. As we can see, Schultz trying to make moves quite early, as he is going to be right up alongside Potty as they makes their way through, and he is going to actually get the jump as he comes out of turn 2 and turn 3 there with it, as we do have a little bit of a spin in the back here, as it looks like the Johnny Damon in the Alpine, and ooh, a little bit of close. But Electric Blade and the Johnny Damon able to keep it from becoming a problem, as we do have the 2 Williams now duking it out as they are one after another, but holding on to P10 and P11. Obviously very close all the way through, as we do have Beamer Blunt right on the back of Cam Tizzle here, as they make their way through turn 12 and 13 there, before heading down to 14, 15, the quick little chicane. As you saw there, medium hard or hard mediums, more than likely going to be what everybody does, as Racer X does make his way past Hayden in the Aston Martin there, as they come to turns 17 and 18. A double left-hander here as they make their way towards start-finish line with Drofta setting the fastest lap as he is going to hold on to first place. And obviously Schultz still right behind him here. However, he does have Potty right on his tail. They are within DRS, but DRS will not be activated for another at least lap. As we make our way through, Potty has closed the gap a little bit. It does look like we have a little bit of an incident, but I think that's the Johnny Damon in the pits. So I believe that was Electric Blade having himself a little bit of a problem coming out of turns 2 and 3. Hayden Rogers also starting to put some pressure on Racer X, as there has become a little bit of a gap between 3 and 4 there, about 2.6 seconds. Obviously, this is incorrect. There is no minute 19 between Cam Tizzle and Gasboy. As you can see, Gasboy is right ahead of him, and Beamer Blunt right there as well. As we do have another incident there. It looks like coming out of the chicane, I think that's Potty having himself a problem. Getting his way out of turns 14 and 15, which is going to allow Schultz to now just really focus on trying to catch up to Drofta there, as that it looks like our VSC is going to come out. So our first safety-ish car of the day. Thankfully just a VSC, so we'll see how this all ends up playing out. Way too early for pit stops unless you have damage. For instance, the Johnny Damon is 44 seconds back, but he's going to be hoping for an actual safety car soon, as it looks like we do have Potty and Nick Paddywhack both coming into the pits here. I am guessing for damage repairs, as it looks like that's that one. So, Nick, maybe, no, there he is. Yeah, he's going in, and he will be getting himself a new front wing. And it looks like the Mercedes has already done so, so he is back out on a new set of hard tires there. Nick Nack also on his own set, and Johnny Damon on some mediums. So we'll see how this all ends up playing out. It's a fairly long virtual safety car, though, as it looks like Drofta and B. Schultz are going to be very close together as they make their way through. 11, 12, 13 on their way out of Sector 2. And DRS is going to be enabled, and the virtual safety car is gone, so we are back under green, with Schultz now trying to chase down Drofta as best he can. He's going to have hopefully a pretty good attempt, although it does look like we lost Gasboy in the final chicane. As he came out, it looks like he got a little sideways, and that'll bring out another virtual safety car as he was coming out of turn 15 there in that little chicane. And that's going to prevent any real movement from happening there, as we do end up losing Gasboy on lap 3. Rather unfortunate for Gasboy. As Ferrari had a rough day last week as well. But Drofta and Schultz have created a pretty solid gap. It's about 0.5 of a second now to P3, as DRS is going to be back enabled, and we are back underway, going green here. Coming down to turn 11, 12, 13, this fun little downhill to a quick and hard uphill. Again, I gotta be smart about how you're braking and be smart about how you're getting on the throttle. As you can see, Schultz here trying to do what he can, as he's looking right down at the back of Drofta. Drofta having been one of our faster drivers throughout the entirety of this season so far. Unfortunately, no DRS as of currently. Oh, he does have DRS. I'm sorry. DRS as he makes his way into turn 2. And the sad thing about Imola is there's only one DRS zone, so it does make it a little tougher to pass if you aren't just outright faster going through this track. But if you can make use of that DRS zone, you are going to be golden. Or if you can massively defend, but you can build up quite a bit of ERS going through here, as Potty does set the fastest time with 1:18.670. And then Knick-Knack goes, nope, that's mine, and sets another fastest lap. And we'll take a look as it looks like Electric Blade, Osmanian Devil are both chasing down Wolfsburg Tuner here. So we have this little three-way battle and a 1:17.991 out of the Johnny Damon to set the fastest lap. So he will now hold on to that, as it does look like we have a little bit of an incident here on the outside. Trying to see if we can find it, and there it is. Yep, so that will be a Modern Tie. Unfortunately, getting himself a little loose coming out of turn 13. And that will bring out our first safety car of the evening. Unfortunately for him, as he was trying to get on the exit, get on the throttle, but gonna have a little bit of a problem. And then we do have Drofta and Schultz coming in, as it looks like Racer X is gonna give himself a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's gonna really hinder his chances. Beamer Blunt, he is on those hard tires, so he's actually gonna try and push them as far as he can go. Drofta getting onto the mediums, as is Schultz going on to the hards. Quite a few kind of changes here, but Beamer Blunt and Mediati, Osmanian Devil all staying out on their current tires, as it is only lap 6, so might be a little early for a good chunk of people, but we will see. As Beamer Blunt in the Red Bull is now going to take over as the leader. So the Imola Grand Prix, the driver with the most actual wins here is kind of surprising. As it is the Max Verstappen, since it's become the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. I cannot say that properly. But since they did that at this race, renamed it as Max has won both of them. And obviously last race it did not end up happening, so we didn't get our 2023 due to flooding. So, but a lot of charity and goodwill coming out of that race in the long run here. And Max, I believe in 2022, did get the Grand Slam on this track. So he got pole, a win, fastest lap, and led every lap. For his third, as he is actually tied with Nelson Piquet for ninth there with 3 Grand Slams. 2021 Austrian, 2022 Imola, and 2023 Spanish Grand Prix. Safety car is going to come in this lap, so we will be back under green, unfortunately having lost Gasboy and a Modern Tie, as we make our way down to the start-finish line here, and we will go through turns 17, 18, and Beamer Blunt will become our proverbial safety car now. And And we are back underway as Beamer Blunt does get a fantastic jump, opening about a almost 7/10 of a second gap there on Mediati. Whereas Osmanian Devil is starting to try to look to make a move here. Fortunately not going to be able to. Hayden Rogers looking also to make a move past Racer X. Racer X obviously does have that 5-second time penalty, so that could come into play massively. But it does look like Drofta trying to hold off on Schultz there as those two get a little close. And unfortunately, this is going to cause absolute carnage. Somehow not a safety car. As there is just, yep, parts and pieces all over the place. As Osmanian Devil is going to get a penalty. Wolfsburg Tuner is going to get himself a penalty. Schultz is unfortunately tangled up in that entirety of that thing. And that is going to bring out another safety car. And we are going to go right back into our second safety car. Now, if you're Beamer Blunt and Mediati, I know it's lap 7, or 7-lap-old tires. Beamer Blunt on those hard, so he can definitely push them a little longer. Hayden Rogers going to get himself a 3-second time penalty as well for corner cutting. See if anyone dives into the pit box out or their pits other than people with some damage. And it does look like we'll have about 5 people all hopping in as Schultz is going to jump his way back up to P8. Rather unfortunate, but at the same time we did manage to avoid any retirements. Just a lot of pieces of vehicles all over the track there. So we are going to be waiting for all the cars to catch back up here. I believe we should have one more lap here and be back underway as our first and second place drivers both are on 9-lap-olds. We have a couple of 7, some 8, and a bunch on new ones, as Mania Devil being the first to hop onto those softs, as we will have about 22 laps left, so he is going to have to pit once again.
The very first racetrack was constructed by connecting public roads between Imola and Qaliy, former racing.
Hopefully we will have safety car in this lap, but we will see. If so, Beamer Blunt will become our proverbial safety lap. Safety car. And yes, there it is, race control saying the safety car in this lap. Beaverland going to create as much space as he can, allow the safety car to get into pit lane, so that way once he gets going under green, won't have any problems whatsoever, hopefully. And he is going to give a little delay there before he is going to get back underway, opening up a pretty solid gap there, as Mediati is very much under threat, as Drofta right up on the back of his gearbox there. There is very little space as Hayden Rogers is able to get past Schultz as well. Mediati gets a little squirrely coming out of turn 2, and that's going to we're good. Mediati though losing 2 places as we get a little bit of bumping between Knick-Knack, Paddywhack and Electric Blade, and Mediati kind of gives a little keeps his shoulder, his elbows out as Electric Blade goes a little bit wide, allowing both the Johnny Damon and Hayden Rogers to slide their way through. Drofta now threatening to get past here, as it looks like he is going to get past Beamer Blunt. Goes on the outside. Body trying to get there as well, but Beamer Blunt going to shut that door off and prevent that from happening. As it looks like, I think that was Knick-Knack, Paddywhack going a little wide. Mediati dropping down the field. As Schultz, Cam Tizzle, and have all gotten past. As we have this little train showing up from Knick-Knack, Paddywhack all the way back. But we do have Potty. He is very close on the back of Beamer Blunt here. As we'll see if he's going to be able to get past. He does not have DRS as of currently, so that will make it a little tougher. It takes a look up on the inside going into turn 2. Decides against it, as he is going to try kind of getting a switch back there. He is going to try and go around the outside, and it looks like he might be able to make this move stick as he comes in. He is going to get past Beamer Blunt on those slightly fresher hard tires, as he's going to get just ahead. And now Beamer Blunt going to have to deal with the Johnny Damon right behind him as well, as Mediati has headed into the pit lane. We do have the Johnny Damon looking to make a move, but he is also under threat of Knick-Knack, Paddywhack behind him, and Hayden Rogers right behind him, with the Electric Blade right behind him, before a little bit of a gap of going for Schultz there. So we have this little group. It looks like Electric Blade getting a little loose coming out of that corner, and he's going to drop back, but Hayden Rogers looking to try and make a move as he looks to the inside, decides against it, moves back to the line. Knick-Knack, Paddywhack gets a little wide, and they make contact, and that's going to send Hayden Rogers around, unfortunately, as now he is going to be facing the wrong way, and that's going to cost, obviously, him massively, as Cam Tizzle has hopped in, and that's going to be something that will probably be brought up a little later on, as Knick-Knack giving a little bump once again to Electric Blade there, and Electric Blade going to be unable to make the move, as it does look like Beamer Blunt facing the wrong way as well. So if we be able to make moves and making some time up on that, as we do have Drofta now almost 2 full seconds ahead of P2, as he is holding on to P1 there. Electric Blade, he's trying to do what he can, trying to find a space to make a move on Knick-Knack, Paddywhack. And Rogers going to get himself another 30-second penalty, though he's going to DNF, because he does have himself a little bit of an issue. And it looks like him coming out of turn 7 is going to be, or turn 13. 14 and 15 there. It looks like that gave him a little bit of a problem. So Electric Blade now looking, he's hoping to try and find space as he takes a little bit of a look inside, but nothing too serious as he's trying to find a gap, as he does also have Schultz right on him as well, as those two are going to be pushing and battling it out, trying to find who can find a gap first. As Electric Blade getting very much under pressure from Schultz. But Racer X not wanting to get left behind is starting to kind of close up. He is now down to 7/10 back before there's a gap between Osmania and Devil and himself. This little trio, or I guess group of four, all getting nice and close to each other. As we can see, Electric Blade takes a little bit of a look, but unfortunately not going to be able to get a whole lot. Trying to get as much of the slipstream as he can, as he does work his way around before getting into turn 2 here, as Knickknack gets a little squirrely, but he is able to hold on. But now Schultz trying to make a move as well. Knickknack very much under threat. Racer X also right basically in the rear diffuser, as it looks like Schultz is going to look up to making the inside, but unfortunately not able to make that move as they come down into turn 9. The fast left-hander before turn 10, and the downhill braking before the extra hard braking to go back uphill. Yeah, Schultz looks a little bit on the inside, but unfortunately not a whole lot there. Knickknack doing what he can to hold on. He is going to be very threatened here, as you can see, nice and close to the Red Bull. And the Aston Martin just kind of floating around in the back, looking to pick up whatever scraps end up getting left behind. As they make their way through, the DRS going to be open. Unfortunately for the Red Bull, the Williams will also have it as he cuts to the inside. He is going to try and make a move, as they actually are going to close in on the AlphaTauri, and the Red Bull is able to make it through. And we can see Knickknack just go spinning off the outside. That is going to drop him back, as we do now come to this group of 3 back down to the trio: Electric Blade, Schultz, and Racer X. Make their way back up the hill. That Red Bull of Schultz really trying to make a move, although he does have Racer X right on his inside, and obviously a hard spot to do side by side going through the chicane. They are able to make it. Knickknack going to get himself a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Unfortunately, Schultz going to lose that position to Racer X. Electric Blade has now created a little bit of a gap, so he is going to be clear of DRS, but Schultz trying to do what he can to hold on, as he's going to want to get as much DRS as he can through here. He is going to have that rear wing open, and unfortunately the Aston Martin going to be a little bit of trouble. He is able to fight him off this time, but we'll see. It's a little slide out of Schultz there. As we do take a look, Electric Blade there. The Johnny Damon kind of sort of in no man's land a little bit. He's got a big gap ahead of him and a big gap behind him. Body in much the same boat, kind of floating between, but he does have a time penalty, so he's going to be creating as much of a gap as he can. Drofta just up doing his own thing, as he's almost 4 seconds clear now. Osmania Devil having a little rough of a day, as he has been in again, getting a new set of tires on. Cam Tizzle is hoping to find a safety car at this point. Mediati holding on to P10, and Beamer Blunt, sort of the same thing, as he's had a rough year. Seems to have all of the worst luck, unfortunately. Wolfsburg Tuner trying to reel in Knickknack Paddywhack, who has also got his 3-second time penalty. And then there's a big gap to Schultz, who unfortunately has fallen out of DRS range, but as has Racer X, though he is starting to kind of claw back into Electric Blade's lead here. Gap, unfortunately unable to do so before getting the DRS zone there. And Racer X really starting to catch him now as he's coming into the super fun downhill uphill exchange. We're heading down to the very difficult, as we've seen it take a couple people out with them, chicanes of 14-15, or turn 14-15. And Schultz unfortunately going to get himself a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, so that's going to put a pretty solid dent in his day, much like Potty and Knick-Knack Paddywhack. But we do have Potty coming in to get onto some new tires as he was on 15-lap old hards. We do have a few people who are also probably going to be wanting to look to swap tires, as you can see Racer X there getting past Electric Blade. The Johnny Damon on 17-lap old hards, or medium, so he's going to want to be looking. Same with Knick-Knack Paddywhack. Dropped on 13-lap old hards. We do have Electric Blade now trying to do what he can to try and reel back Racer X in. As the field has really started to spread out, there's about a 6-second gap now to the Johnny Damon from Drofta. Electric Blade coming in, and he is going to have DRS activated as soon as he crosses that line. Let's see if he is going to be able to reel in the Aston Martin there of Racer X. It looks like he might not be able to quite get to him before getting to turn 2. Now he's just going to have to try and keep a little closer. I think if he's about 0.5 of a second in there, as they hit that DRS zone, he might have a pretty good shot of reeling him in. Obviously, it's a little easier said than done, as Racer X is no slouch when it comes to the drive, as he driving either, as being blunt, on those 18-lap old hard tires, has sent himself into the pits to get some new ones. It's not a super great exit, as that's going to drop him down. He's going to be about 0.7 of a second, so he's going to have to really hope for a solid exit out of turn 17 and 18 here. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be good enough that he'll be able to reel him in, but we'll stay on board here as he tries to make his way through. As Drofta has entered himself into the pit lane. Johnny Damon now is going to take over. Yeah, unfortunately, just a little too far away. Not quite able to make that. He's going to get back on. Does seem like Drofta is going to come back out of the pits just behind Knick-Knack Paddywhack, so he's going to drop down to P6 for now. Obviously, everyone ahead of him is going to probably need to pit at some point. see Electric Blade now a little bit closer. Not quite as close as I'm sure he wants to be, but we'll see if he's going to be able to make this move here, as Drofta is actually starting to catch Knick-Knack Paddywhack. It does not look like it there, so we'll swing over to Drofta as he is going to, yep, because Knick-Knack is going to come into the pits, and that is going to change that. And the Johnny Damon not going to be able to get himself out in time. As he will drop down into P6 behind the Mercedes. So the Johnny Damon's going to have some work to do now, as Drofta is a few seconds behind. But obviously Schultz, Electric Blade, and Racer X all have fairly old tires with about 11 laps to go. So we'll have to see how that all ends up shaking out. As we can see, Electric Blade still trying to track down Racer X, but unfortunately for him, just can't seem to get within sort of the range of DRS to be effective to pass. But he is in danger of actually losing enough time or being slowed down enough. But then, as I say, that Racer X does come into the pits, so that is going to nullify that for now, as Racer X, I'm assuming, going to throw on some softs, maybe? As Drofta does set the fastest lap on those new mediums. Nope, Racer X is going to be coming out on slightly used mediums. So that will be the game plan. So it's just our last two hard tire run, long distance hard tire runners on the 17 lap old hards of Schultz and Electric Blade. We'll wait and see what they decide to do. Knick-Knack Paddywhack, though, he is looking to make a move as he does get past Cam Tizzle. He is on much newer tires there, as 1 lap old compared to the 15 lap old Cam Tizzle is on. As we are in our final 10 laps. Knick-Knack looking to make a move on Mediati as he comes through. Mediati kind of making it tough, but he is on those older hard tires, so he's going to be a little bit of a sitting duck to the brand new mediums that Knick-Knack Paddywhack is on, as he slides into the slipstream, looks to make a move on the inside, sides against it as they are coming to the sort of double left-hander here. One of 2 double left-handers. As he looks to make a move, probably there, but yeah, Mediati kind of just gets out of the way. Was Knick-Knack Paddywhack on his way through. Looks like Beamer Blunt going to DNF as he has himself a little bit of an incident in Sector 2 there, so he'll do lose him, but no safety car. So he pulled off out of the track. It does look like a Wolfsburg tuner coming in as well. That allowed Knick-Knack Paddywhack to make his move on through. And I feel like we've got a little bit of a game of chicken up here in P1 and P2 on who's going to pit first. Unfortunately, Drofta really starting to reel them in. He's about 6 seconds back. And there's about 9 laps to go, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Oh, Schultz now very much in that DRS range. Is he going to be able to... He does make a move up on the inside. Is he going to be able to... Ooh, they get real close together. A little bit of a tap. Schultz looking to make moves as he looks again up on the inside. He brakes a little later. It actually is able to make the move, but now he's got the really hard task of trying to get out of Electric Blade's DRS and create a solid gap, because I believe he has a 3-second time penalty there, so that's going to be a tough task ahead. A lot to ask as Beamer Blunt fortunately has himself a rough day, and he will no longer be in the session. We do have a little bit of action still going on with this this little battle here, though. Again, Drofta in the span of that about lap and a bit, has already cut the the gap down to 3.6 seconds, down from about 6. So he's already cut off about 3 seconds. And that is that's a lot of time very quickly. Obviously, when you've got two cars battling it out, it gives you a little bit of an opportunity to be able to reel in a lot of time. Not sure these guys are going to want to pit, as they're kind of stuck unless there's a safety car. And they get very lucky. It's going to be a rough one. So Drafta, he's going to be looking to make as many moves as he can, or as much of a move as he can here in the final 6 laps. These two so far the biggest duel we have on track, the closest duel battle we have. As Knick Knack Paddywhack going to set the fastest lap with 1:16.977. Electric Blade just not letting Schultz to get out of that DRS range of him. It is costing time for both of them, as Drafta on those mediums is now down to under 2 seconds here, and closing the gap very quickly. Those old hard tires are definitely starting to feel it, and you can see how quickly things are changing, as it looks like we do have a caution flag up in sector 1. I believe that's Tasmanian Devil, but he is able to continue and get himself back on track and going. As we can see, Electric Blade looking to make a move up on the inside, and he is going to be able to use DRS to get past Schultz, as they are going to swap positions once again. And Drafta, you can see him kind of lurking in the background like Jaws, just waiting to pick up the scraps of whatever's left behind. And now Drafta being very involved in this, as he is less than half a second behind. Very close now, all the way through there. Johnny Damon also looking to start making a move here on Potty, as that's going to be fairly important, as it looks like we do have another incident. I think that's the Aston Martin there of Racer X, but he's able to continue and keep going. But these two, almost a little bit of a little touch there, as Schultz does get himself passed by Drafta now. Drafta going to do what he can, as he's been dropped a little bit by Electric Blade, but immediately closes that gap and gets right back up onto him. Let's see, so he is going to have DRS. Maybe not. No, it looks like he does not, unfortunately, get DRS coming out of there. The Johnny Damon does get past Potty. He does also have a time penalty, so this is going to be very unfortunate, as he's not going to be able to really easily try and start reeling in Schultz, who also does have a time penalty. But Drafta doing what he can, as we see Schultz go a little wide, and that's going to cost him. So he's going to fall out of the DRS range now, as Drafta is right up on the rear diffuser of Electric Blade. As Racer X does get passed by Knick Knack Paddywhack as well. By doing what he can to try and catch back up to the Johnny Damon, but it looks like the Johnny Damon's going to clear the DRS range, or at least be very close to doing so. So we'll come down to this last chicane before it's kind of decided who gets what and where, but Drafta not even wanting to wait for DRS, as he is very much inside the rear wing of Electric Blade's AlphaTauri. And there's a very good shot. He is obviously going to have DRS, but there's a real good chance that he's going to be able to get past, as he's trying to take the long way, going all the way around. We're going to see is Drafta going to be able to, and yes, he definitely did, and he opens up about a half a second gap right away too. But he is going to take up P1 on very much newer tires, as Electric Blade and Schultz now very much not having a fun time on these very old tires, as the Johnny Damon also starting to reel them in, as he's going to try and get himself onto a podium, as they do have 3 and a bit laps left. But I think Schultz is going to end up losing out on this final podium spot as the Johnny Damon cuts up on the inside, goes around the outside next corner, and is able to hold on to that, as Schultz just seems to be struggling on those very old tires. I mean, they are 23 lap old hard tires. They are beat up, and Cam Tissel much the same on those 21s. Electric Blade, he's doing what he can. They're battling as hard as they can to try and survive this, but I think those tires are pretty much gassed at this point, as it looks like Buddy's going to also try and make a move here, as he's going to have DRS, I believe, as they make their way towards the front straight. We'll see how that goes. Is he going to get it? And yes, he is. So he will have DRS. He might be able to. We'll see if he's able to close the gap and get himself ahead before they get to turn 2, as he does take a look up the inside. He is going to be side by side going through there, and Schultz unfortunately having to go a little wider to avoid collision, as Potty does make his way through. Restark's going to get himself a time penalty, but that is going to be a rather unfortunate time for Schultz, as he was having a fantastic drive. Just those old tires just not doing him any favors, as Drofta has already opened up a massive gap over Electric Blade, and Electric Blade now is going to have to worry about if the Johnny Damon's going to be able to catch him here. He has only 1.3 seconds left, or seconds ahead. There is about 2.5 laps to go, and he is starting to reel him in. It is already down to about a second, as this looks like it could be a danger of losing the podium, as he does have a little bit of a slide coming out of turn 15. Let's see, it doesn't look like Cody is going to be able to reel him in, so Electric Blade might be able to hold on to a podium, but he's going to have a real fight with the Johnny Damon coming up here, as he's going to have to do what he can to try and extend this the best he can, and Schultz does get himself another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It does look like the Johnny Damon making a move up on the inside / outside before coming around and making the move very easily before turn 2. And those 25 lap old tires are just not feeling it. Thankfully, Electric Blade now basically just has to do what he can on these last couple laps, as we are on the final 2 laps of this race. As we make our way through turn 9 into turn 10 before the 11, 12, 13 downhill, then uphill. As Osmanium Double gets himself a time penalty as well. We're just throwing out time penalties. Just candy on Halloween. And it looks like Maurice X having himself a little bit of a problem in Sector 2 there, coming out of the hairpin. And now Electric Blade, he's got about a 4.5 second gap on P4. So he hopefully, as we come into our final lap, as we will hop on board with Drofta as he makes his way through the final time around wonderful Imola track. Click left for the slowed down right turn. We're heading into the hairpin. As he makes his way around turn 7. It looks like we're looking at more or less our final finishing order here. Don't think there's much in terms of changes that'll happen with all the penalties, as I think there's enough of a gaps between people that it won't cause too many of problems there. As Drofta makes his way through down turn 16 and turn 17, turn 18, and then he will make it through the last final corner of turn 19 before he crosses the finish line here, and he will take the win here at Imola, followed little ways back, but still there. The Johnny Damon in P2 and Electric Blade coming off his final corner in P3 on those very old tires. Probably going to pass through in P4. Schultz right behind him in P5. We'll have Nick Nack Paddywhack as he makes his way through the final couple corners. And he will, looks like he's going to take P6. Racer X coming through as well. As he heads down, and he will take P7. Cam Tizzle, who has been fairly quiet, but not a whole lot for him, but we'll give him a nice little watch here as he makes his way through the final couple quarters as well in the Papaya McLaren. As he's going to take P8 and a couple of points home as well. Ooh, as he does a nice little 360 drift through the final corner, or through the start-finish line. Mediati coming in P9, and finally Wolfsburg Tuner will be our last finisher here, as he will come through in P10, collecting that final point in the Constructors' Championship. And that Osmanian Devil did also finish, but he will be in P11. And that is going to be how this one ends. So Nick and Paddywhack gonna get himself driver of the day. Now, as it stands, it will be Drafta on that top step, followed by the Johnny Damon, and then Electric Blade, as they will get to hold up the trophies and then spray each other down with some fantabulous digital champagne. With that, we will go over. So Dropta, he is going to finish in P1. The Johnny Damon in P2, Electric Blade P3, Pody in P4, B Schultz in P5, Nick Nack Paddywhack in P6, Racer X in P7, Cam Tizzle P8, Mediati in P9, Wolfsburg Tuner in 10, Osmanian Devil in 11, and then unfortunately Beamer Blunt, Hayden Rogers, Modern Tie, and Gasboy all will DNF this one. So rather unfortunate for them, but a fantastic race overall. Fairly clean, couple of spins, couple of incidences that I'm sure will be discussed later. We'll see how they all end up shaking out. But for now, that will be your final grouping of standings. As we will head now to the booth. See who decided to come and join us. I'm not sure. I don't think so, because everyone's having their own discussions here. And we will deal with that another day, I guess. But a fantastic race overall. Great driving out of everybody. We will quickly discuss, so we no, not the map, we want the calendar. So for those who are with us, we are in Imola today. Next week, August 27th, we will be in Monaco. The Barcelona race, unfortunately, I will not be casting. I don't know if we have a plan for that, as I will be unavailable for that weekend, but we will be back for Montreal shortly after. A couple weeks after, and then we do have Austria and Spielberg, then Silverstone, Hungaroring, Spa, Zandvoort, Monza, Singapore, Suzuka, the new Qatar track, Austin or Coda, Mexico, Interlagos, Las Vegas, and then the Yas Marina. So hopefully you will be able to come by and check out one of those races, but we will be on our way to Monaco for next race, which will just be fantastic. Oh, I apparently lost all my noise. But we'll be back for Monaco for the next race here. And hopefully everybody has themselves a fantastic rest of their evening. And we will catch you guys again for next week, once again in Monaco. Thanks for coming on by. We will chat at you later on. Have yourselves a good one. Enjoy the rest of your night. Later.